Well, let's see if we can make this podcast pay for your natural garden lawn thing.
Yeah.
We'll get right on that.
I finally got my front looking at least, mediocre, so now the back has to get done.
That's what I told my waxing specialist.
Make me look mediocre?
No, that my front finally got looking good, so I have to make my back look mediocre.
Gross.
Come on, that's a good job.
Everybody, and welcome to Book Retorts. I'm Danielle.
I'm Sam.
And this is a podcast where one of us explains a weird piece of media to the other who has no experience with it.
That's me, Danielle, like a brand new book you just bought. Crack me open, break my spine.
Are you sure we haven't done that one before?
I mean, I've lost track, probably.
He makes this up on the fly, everybody. I don't know if we've done it before.
Again, I certainly have not been keeping track, so if we have, I guess deal with it.
And if we haven't, why haven't we? We've done like 150 episodes or something. A book one seemed obvious.
It's the most obvious ones that might escape us, Danielle.
I do feel bad because now I don't have a book for us, so that kind of makes me sad that you...
Let me amend it. I'm like a brand new VHS tape. Nobody knows how to put me in a VCR, and I've probably deteriorated over time.
Way better.
Yeah, sure. 2 for 1 today, everyone.
Don't worry, he'll use the book one again.
Almost certain. I'm never going to forget about all the ones I've done in the past because I'm not keeping track.
All right. Sam, I'm sorry Danielle, to do this to you.
Is this another K-drama?
No.
Is it a DCOM?
It's a Thai drama.
Okay, well, I wasn't sorry. I don't mean to imply all Asian dramas are the same.
Normally I wouldn't do, because I just did a Thai drama, and normally I would not do 2 things back to back, La Pluie. But I started watching this one, and it was such a wild ride. And you know what? It's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. So buckle in, everybody. See me
repeating my same dumb openings every time, so whatever.
We are going to do Ready, Set, Love. It's a 2024 Thai drama available on Netflix if you are so inclined as to watch it.
Is this about like racing of some kind?
Absolutely
not. Or track
not.
And field?
You're going to love it, Sam.
So why is it called Ready, Set, Love? If it doesn't have any race. Oh, I'm mad at this.
This is going to be a multi-parter. Apologies, my notes are long.
What else is new?
So I decided to split. Hey, I did the right thing. I split it up. It's going to be maybe 2, maybe 3. We'll see.
Wow. There better be a lot of Formula One racing in this episode.
It's very heavy in the front half. And so I'm not sure quite how long it's going to get through how many episodes it'll take to get through the front half.
Okay.
But let me send you the summary.
Sure. I can't wait to hear what this is about.
Sorry, I am re-experiencing what I went through when I read the summary and then started watching the TV show, and you're going to like it.
That's a big promise, Danielle. That's a check your media cannot cash. Oh, I already hate this. In a world, we do it again. In a world grappling with a dwindling male population, an unassuming woman becomes a contender in a government-sponsored dating competition. This sounds like the most sexist thing.
It's so good. My expectations going into this and what this was actually about are 2 very different things.
I mean, the whole concept of a dwindling male population is nonsense.
No, it's not.
Yes, I mean, from a biological perspective, it is, unless you have a policy like the one-child policy that used to exist in China, but that obviously skewed the population more male because of, cultural sexism in our world. So yes. I'm not sure I really buy this, unless maybe there's a space virus that wipes out X chromosome. Oh, really? Yeah, got it. Nailed it. Okay, great.
A little bit. We'll get into it. Are you ready for this?
There's some kind of weird medical phenomenon that is caused people to only give birth to men.
Something like that.
I hate this so much.
All right. You ready for fun times dating competition, Sam?
I'm going to have a lot of feedback for this dating competition on how best to make a dating competition, so get ready for that.
You might like this dating competition. It reminded me a little bit of you.
I do like really weird, like reality show ideas.
Weird.
Yeah. I've always wanted to make like reality shows that were a little cruel.
Then you're gonna love this one.
But I only do that as a joke. I don't want it to actually exist.
Well, it's a TV show. It's okay. So it flashes across the screen text. It says, "The city, 18 years ago."
The city.
The city.
There's only one city. Post-apocalyptic.
It is. There's only one city in Thailand. It's nighttime, and you get a close-up of a child's eye, and then a PA system announcement as people in military boots run around an alleyway, obviously, like, looking for this child. And the announcement says, "There's an escapee from the farm. Please evacuate the streets. Officers are in pursuit. Stay inside your homes and follow all rules until further notice."
All right. Right off the bat, the farm?
If you have a problem with that, you're going to have a problem with everything else.
Look, I get this is a dystopia, but, like, come on.
Do you?
What do you mean, do I get into dystopia? Obviously.
The child's breathing heavily and covers their mouth to, cover the sound up as officers approach him, but they're distracted by another noise down the alleyway and they run off. So he takes the opportunity to escape, and you see like a hospital-style tag on his wrist, the camera zooms in on it, labeling him as son, quote-unquote, S-O-N.
I got it. Although that would be better. Like, it'd be like a combination of that movie Sunshine, where the sun is dying, and they're like, we have to breed a new sun here on Earth.
Yes, that's what's happening.
All right. Well, I'm trying to make a better movie, Danielle. Give me a break.
You don't know if this is good or not.
I'm talking about Sunshine.
All right, cut scene to old newsreels. It's 1974, and there was a devastating pandemic that wiped out a lot of the population, but specifically men. The male birth rates also dropped to 1%.
Oh, okay. What?
Research showed the disease called, quote-unquote, abnormal hormonal activity in women.
But wait. Before you even say another word, women's bodies don't determine the sex of the child.
I'm just telling you what the video says,
I mean,
Sam.
I understand that all fetuses or all embryos start out female, and then there is a hormonal switch that starts the male development process and everything. But, like, that's because of the Y chromosome in the sperm, not because of the X chromosome in the egg.
Well, write to Thailand and let them know.
Okay. I'm just saying already, I mean, this is like, why not make it affect the men? So they can't shoot the right things to make the women pregnant with men. Because
it's always the women's fault. So
that's what I'm saying. It's so sexist. It's bad. That's what I'm getting at.
So the remaining males, moving on.
It's not their fault.
So the remaining males are basically a protected species and raised in a secure facility where after they reach a certain age, they participate in a government-sponsored reality TV show called Ready, Set, Love, where they are married off.
Okay, a couple of things.
None of this would happen.
Terrible name. Obviously, terrible name for a reality dating show that's like the survival of the species.
Mm-hmm.
B, why would the government or whomever trying to regulate the procreation of the species in a very important way leave it up to a reality dating competition that they broadcast live?
I mean, why does the Hunger Games happen, Sam?
I mean, that's also very stupid, Danielle. I'm not saying that makes it better.
Also, why would they have married couples? In reality, you'd want your males to procreate as much as humanly possible.
Right. You basically, I mean, forgive the crude terminology, stud them out, right?
Yeah, there's no way they'd just be like monogamous relationships.
Right. You got like, you basically say, hey, congratulations, you're at the appropriate age. Hopefully that is an appropriate age when they start this.
They're all in their like mid to late 20s.
Yeah, okay, good. At least. And they say, okay, go forth and, there's we've picked whatever X number of women who have volunteered and, go have fun, whatever. Like, that is way more plausible than reality dating show with one winner and hopefully you might produce a son, maybe?
Yeah. Wild. And I'm sure they'd be doing like regular deposits in a sperm bank too. So
that's so much better. I mean, also like, do we even need men at this point? Couldn't you just do like in vitro fertilization
they talk about that as well. There is a lot of that because there are babies being born in the normal society in the city.
I'm sure they can figure out a way to like combine the genome of two eggs or whatever, two X chromosomes from an egg, and you just have an all-female population. Hey, this sounds like a utopia now.
Well, the city is all female. There's no males in the city because all the men live in the farm. So like the normal city is all run by females. There's not like a single male there.
Amazing. This sounds honestly like one of those really stupid like right-wing conspiracies about how they'll want to like feminists want to subjugate subjugate all men, and that's not a good look for it.
There's never like a power dynamic between the women and the men in terms of like women are ruling and the men are the lesser class, or the men are the higher class.
They're all confined to the farm, Danielle.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that interestingly, it never plays into that. Like, it doesn't get into the politics of women ruling, essentially.
That's a super, like, ugly place where people actually believe that's happening, and it's not good. Like, that's just terrible misogyny.
Yeah, it doesn't get into the politics of the city, really. So, male birth rates continue to be low to this day, and in the last 4 years, there have actually been no males born.
Have they ever heard of vaccines?
I don't know what to tell you, Sam. I don't know if it's just long-term effects of this thing 40 years later.
Sure. All right. Whatever.
So the current male population in Thailand is 314 males. And like I said, they live safely in the comfort of the farm.
So there's like a 1 to a million whatever population disparity between men and women.
Yeah, it's a huge amount.
And they say, we're going to find you one partner in a reality dating competition, and that's how we're going to keep our species alive?
I guess so. So they're going to keep the Thai people alive, at least. Maybe in other countries they do it differently.
I would hope so, because Thailand is not long for this world in that case.
So fireworks explode over a giant cake where 2 TV show hosts stand atop it, announcing that it's time again for the hit reality show held every 4 years. Ready, set, love. Sam, I don't make the rules up.
So they're like, we're only going to try to procreate once every 4 years with these men.
Yeah.
Man, our species deserves to go at this point. Jeez.
And it introduces the contestants. We have Max, Jin, Paper, Almond, and Sun.
Are those pseudonyms?
They have their Thai names, and then they have nicknames that they use. Okay. And these are the nicknames that they use.
Is Max the one man?
Is Max the what?
Is he the male in the competition?
No, they're all males. These are 5 males from the farm that are competing in the competition.
Wait, I had this backwards. I thought there'd be one male and the women are all competing to be with them because the ratios.
I'll get into the logistics of how this game is played, but there are 5 males and 5 females get to like win the competition essentially, and like 50 women end up competing and 5 win.
So instead of having, say, a competition every year, they wait until they have like 5 and do a 5 at once.
Yes, Sam. I don't know. It's more fun that way.
I am. But, like, The Bachelor is a one male. Like, that's a thing that exists and is popular in this reality.
But no, it's 5 guys.
I mean, this makes less and less sense. Like, I can get on board with some of this, but the more you tell me about how there's the logistics of this show, the less I think it makes any sense.
That's why it's fun.
Okay, great, sure.
So this group of men are called the gentlemen, and our ladies, quote unquote, are going to compete for their hand in marriage to become part of the family, which is basically an extension of the farm where like a lot of the wealthy, the people who are born into like with real parents, real quote unquote parents, biological parents, all of those live. So it's like the high class area, essentially.
At least these people are volunteers and not like coerced into it. Are they coerced into it, Danielle? Do we get into that? Because maybe I'm making assumptions.
No, they are not coerced into it. And it's just generally, it's like a thing anybody would want to do, like to get a real boyfriend, essentially.
It's like I would want to do The Bachelor, but no one actually wants to do The Bachelor.
Right.
Got it. Perfect.
So if they win, they get to marry one of the guys, they get to join the family, they get to live a life of luxury. So they've decided this year, it's their first year that they're going to do this. Usually they pull from like upper class families, from the family itself.
Good classism.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the first year that they've decided they're going to do a lotto for like regular citizens in the city. And so anybody can like what they have to do is buy a product. It's actually the product placement in this is pretty funny. I have no idea if these are real things in Thailand, but they do a lot of product placement. It's very much like Truman Show-esque because it's a reality TV show. They can get away with it. So you can buy this product called Milky Moo Moo. It's some type of milk, obviously. And you scan the code and each purchase gives you an entry into the competition. So that's like the tie-in.
That's a choice for how to do this. Right. Again, if you're trying to propagate the species, you want maximum genetic diversity. So either A, pulling from the upper class only is how you get like European monarch families, which are not great. Or like, hey, if you can afford to buy a bunch of these products, then you can get them, which again just sort of skews it towards the wealthy.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose to say this is the first year that there's a lotto, because you could have said this is a thing that happens every year. Nobody would have questioned it.
Yeah,
it doesn't change the story.
Don't make it tied to buying a product. Just say, and we're going to enter the lottery because you need as many women as you want, presumably participating. And also, maybe make all of them win. What's the downside?
Well, we're not going to have them all win.
Will there be too many pregnant women in this universe? Like, is the problem that, like, they're overpopulated with women and they have to be very careful about their breeding? Because that doesn't make any sense either.
No, Sam, they don't really get into breeding itself.
Okay, sure. I just don't understand anything about the logic behind this competition.
Me either. It's great.
Okay, good. All right. Just so long as we're clear.
So QR heroine, her name is Day. She's working her job at a minute market, and a young girl with an oxygen nasal cannula pulls all the milk out of the fridge and she sets them on the counter to buy them. And Day asks her, like, aren't you buying too many of these? This is a lot of milk. It's not going to make you grow any taller. And the girl sarcastically says back that she cares so much about her customers. Thank you so much for, letting me know.
That's valid. I mean, what's your business, lady?
She thanks her for her shopping, but she seems kind of annoyed. It's an odd interaction. We'll get into it. So the girl stops at the door to talk to the cardboard cutout of Sun, advertises one of the guys that's in the competition, advertising what appears to be lipstick, and tells him how handsome he is and gives him a big hug. And she asks Day if she can have the cutout, and Day is like, no, you can't have the cutout.
Of course not.
Store property.
Also, I just had a thought. Mm-hmm. The most powerful industry in this world has got to be, like, sex toys, right?
Probably.
Yeah, like, they are the number one industry in this universe by this point.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, wild to think, like,
They don't get into that. This is kind of PG.
I got that. I'm just saying, like, it's amazing to think that the most powerful lobbyists would be the manufacturers of massage guns.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So she's begging and begging. She's like, please, can I take Day home? And the woman's like, or Day's like, no. And the girl finally leaves in defeat.
I mean, wait, they're both named Day?
No, Day is the worker. And the girl who's probably, I'm going to say 12-ish, she is the one that was begging to take the cardboard cutout of Day home. And Day says no.
Wait, the cardboard cutouts of Day?
Yeah, of one of the guys in the competition.
Right, but the woman in the store is also named Day.
Oh, sorry. I do that a lot. I don't know why I can mix them up. Sun is the name of the
I'm like, what's going on here? I
actually had that problem the entire time I was writing my notes. I kept writing Day instead of Sun. I don't know why.
I get it. Sun and Day are linked. I get the
Yeah. It was really bad. I had to rewrite some of my stuff.
I thought I was like, wait a minute, she's around. I was so confused. I thought they were putting the men to work in convenience stores to acclimate them to society or something.
No. So Sun is the cardboard cutout. The little girl's begging for it. Day says no. Little girl finally admits defeat. She leaves. And as Day, then it cuts to later on that evening. Day leaves her work shift. She stops at the exit and she stares at the cardboard cutout thoughtfully. Cutscene.
Right. Can we be clear here? Naming your two love interests, Sun and Day? Come on.
You don't know that they're love interests.
I've seen it. I mean, am I wrong?
I'm absolutely not telling you that.
All right. Fair enough. I'm just saying, it seems very, if it is true, boy, that's
pretty common in Thai dramas. I'm going to admit, there's several Thai dramas where the names are complementary to each other, and it probably so you can make a cute little name if you put the two together.
Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That already exists.
There's a famous drama where the two leads are tin and can, and so it's like tin can.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that is that complimentary? Maybe it sounds better in Thai.
And I think Thai oftentimes, if you and I do not know the history of how Thai people pick their nicknames. Sometimes they're based, I think, on their actual names, and sometimes they're just nicknames. But it's often English nouns, for example.
Interesting.
Things you would not necessarily choose as an English speaker to name your child as a nickname.
Well, you know what? Now I'm fascinated.
Yeah, earlier when I said the names of the characters, there was almond, paper, sun. Gin,
yeah, that's why I asked if they were nicknames, but I thought they were
nicknames.
Those were just translations. I didn't think they were actually English words.
No, they're they're what they call each other in the show.
But it's English almond, not the Thai word for almond.
Yeah, it's English almond.
Okay, that's where I had the disconnect. Okay, yeah, well that is different. Okay.
I like it. It's fun.
All right, cool.
So that's pretty common in Thai dramas. I assume it's common in normal Thai life too, but maybe not to that extent. Because sometimes they have completely, like, you could see where it's from their original name, just like we have nicknames that are based on original names.
All right, let's get back to the reality show competition.
So she's staring at the cardboard cutout thoughtfully, and there's a cutscene to the little girl with the nasal cannula. She's screaming in enthusiasm as she looks over the cardboard cutout. Day is her sister and has delivered it to their apartment because she begged for it, because she's a good sister.
So wait, that little child who gave her all the guff was her sister?
Yes.
Boy, she's going to be really upset when her older sister marries the guy she has a crush on.
Nah, she's a great sister.
Uh-huh.
So Day does not understand the enthusiasm because she just does not care about the boys at all.
Right.
Yeah. So the little girl's name is May, Day and May, because why not? And she's like clearly obsessed with these 5 guys. Like this is her whole life. And she spends the evening scanning all the codes on the milk she bought to enter her sister into the competition. I assume there's an age limit to it.
Yeah, the 12-year-old should not be allowed to enter the dating competition.
And so I imagine what she's doing is actually entering her sister into the competition. That's through context clues. I don't think she actually says that. But she wants her sister to find a boyfriend so that if she's not around someday, Day won't be lonely, is what she says.
Okay, so she's worried about her older sister being lonely if the younger sister leaves.
Yes, because she clearly is ill because she has the oxygen.
Right. But also, like, is their only answer to loneliness hooking up with one of 5 men in the whole world?
Apparently, if you're not gay or bi or some kind of
can't you have friends? Everything has to be sex. Can't you just have friends?
They've got friends, but I think she's just like, I think this is just her little sister's dream because her little sister like lives for these guys.
Okay.
So in her brain, it's like, this would be the ultimate dream is you getting to live in a fancy place and have a boyfriend or husband or whatever.
Sure, why not?
She's a kid. So, meanwhile, at the farm, Sun, looking very tired, heads towards a photo shoot for the competition. And news reporters are there interviewing Jenny, who is the head of production. And apparently it was her idea to have the lotto. So, as I said, I think this is the first year that they've done it.
Is the government not involved in this? Just the producers making all the decisions for how the species works?
No, it's Jenny is the producer, but she has a lot of pressure from outside sources. So the government it's government sponsored. So.
Okay, I was going to say, that would be very capitalist to just let some private industry manage the species procreation.
Yeah, I don't know how all that works, but it's definitely run by the higher ups in the government.
Sure. All right.
So she said she wants everybody to have an equal chance. And cue to 1 week before Ready, Set, Love.
If you want everyone to have an equal chance, why not let them each enter once instead of having to purchase the milk thing?
Because then you get money from the milk. I mean, obviously, it's
capitalistic
nightmare.
Do they need money? Wouldn't the government put a lot of money into this?
It's interesting because obviously it reminded me of Hunger Games. Like there's obviously, this is the capital, is like the family and the farm where they even have like the kind of crazy outfits when they're doing it's a little Eurovision-y when they do the competition
I would
itself.
hope so. That's the best.
Yeah, so it has like that, lots of crazy costumes and everything, and obviously like very wealthy environment. And then the city itself is more normal, and like Day works multiple jobs. Like it's obvious that there's poor people there.
Okay, sure.
I think they probably utilize all the money for whatever they utilize it for. And why, if it's a capitalistic dystopian, why wouldn't they sell products so that you could enter it?
I mean, I get it. I'm just saying it doesn't seem the most efficient way to ensure the species survives.
I don't think they're really trying to ensure the species survives.
I mean, obviously, with the only marry out one guy to one woman, that makes obviously, with the only marry out one guy to one woman.
We'll get into it a little bit more. Okay, so Day is coming home from her other job and she sees her friend sitting in the stairwell. I guess her friend just got a new job on the set of Ready, Set, Love and offers to buy her meals, and she's practically rich now.
Sure.
So they head over to an outdoor barbecue and Day remarks that it's extra busy, and the friend's name is Valentine. And Valentine reminds her that it's the day that they pick the lotto people and there's still time to enter. But Day's like, yeah, I don't care. Give me all of the food, because she's a big foodie. She's just like excited to be at the barbecue.
Okay. Good for her. Get that barbecue girl. You go.
She's paying no attention. So everybody stands up in excitement as all the TVs, they have like a million TVs in the downtown area, and all of them come up and saying, it's time to announce the lotto girl, and cut to her sister adding all her like last minute milk purchases for entries, as In the Hall of the Mountain King plays very dramatically in the background, and thunder starts to crash and lightning flashes.
Good choice of music.
Yeah, it's a pretty good scene. And to the shock of everyone, especially Day, she wins!
But is she the only winner? I thought they picked like 50 women.
we are going to get into this a little bit because I'm telling you from the perspective of how I watched it and then what actually happened.
Okay, got it. Sure.
They only show Day. They show a picture of Day, a really terrible picture of her, and they're like, this is the winner! And she's like, wait, what? I don't want to go.
Then she doesn't does she have to? It's not like she's like obligated.
No, I don't think she's obligated to go, but it cuts back to the apartment sometime after that. Day's like freaking out about having to go. She doesn't want to, and her sister's begging her. She really wants she really wants Sun's autograph, and she put in so much effort for her sister to win, and can't she just go and at least get the autograph? You know, like, that doesn't mean she'll get picked. She still has to do stuff when she gets there. Like, she just goes on and on and on, and finally, Day, at her wit's end, screams, no! And the scene cuts, and she's at the audition day party.
Got it. Sun, you mean, right?
No.
Is she Sun or is he Sun?
He's Sun. She's
okay.
Day.
Got it. Whatever. This is going to be a thing.
Welcome to my life. So the scene cuts, she's at the audition day party, and she is most excited about the food. There's like a huge buffet of crackers, cheese, shrimp, you know, all the good fun stuff. Mm-hmm. And she's like super stoked about it, and she's digging in. And of course, there's like I said, at least 50 women. Now I think there's 50 total. And she's like the only person that interested in the food. Everybody else is like excited about the boys and the competition and all that. And so this was confusing to me because I thought that she had already just gotten into the competition, but apparently there's an audition to be part of the competition. Like, there's still more competition to get into the competition.
Why is this so complicated?
I don't know. So she got the chance to audition, I guess.
This is dumb.
Yeah. So everybody's standing there, and then they start to scream, and at like slow motion, this group of girls walks in, very like Mean Girl style. And they all have these sashes on, sort of like the ones that they use for
I gotcha.
The competitions.
The mayoral sash.
Yes. And the girl that walks in the front of the group, hers says Lady 01s, and she's apparently one of the organic gang, quote unquote.
So those are all women who were born from procreation. There
you go.
I do not like that term, organic gang. Sounds like a bunch of farmers who are like, hey, using pesticide, not in my neighborhood.
Maybe it sounds better in Thai, but I don't think so. They might even say organic gang in English. I don't remember.
Sure, why not?
So she's kind of the Day is our audience surrogate. So yeah, we're learning everything through her. She finds out that, like you said, they're all born from a biological family, and that whole group of girls are from biological families. And then one of the guys, Max, is also from a biological family.
Okay, that's wait a minute. If they have 5 women and 1 guy born from a biological family, that's a pretty good ratio.
What?
I mean, if the last round of this, whatever, that produced this crop of organics had a 1 man to 5 woman ratio, that's way better than like the 1,000,000 to 1.
What they actually say is they're part of the a biological family with an actual dad, and they're brought up in the family just like Max. And I assumed that Max was born from a biological family, but perhaps it just meant he was raised in the family. But
wouldn't they all be like siblings then? Gross.
No, they're not siblings. They're all from different people.
Yeah, but like how wide is this net being cast, as we've established in the beginning?
I do not know. There's only 314 men, so beats me.
That's not enough.
I don't think many are biological because, like they said, there hadn't been any male babies in 4 years. So I think most of these people are, like, any males that are born are probably IVF or something like that.
All right.
So Lady 01, Lady 1 is Chanel.
That's a terrible
name. Her name's Chanel.
She's like a Borg. 01 of 5.
So she's the daughter of Eve Capital's president. And I think Eve Capital is the name of, like, the major rich area.
Wow. They don't know how to name things in this show.
That's just what it's called. But it says of Eve Capital's president.
All right.
So I'm assuming Eve Capital is the name of the major area.
I'm going to assume that's the name of her mother, Eve Capital.
Maybe. It's not, though. It's Mrs. Kwan.
Less interesting.
So apparently Chanel's very super popular on social media. Her best friend is Bovie, heiress to a hotel chain. Also either a big social media influencer or a starlet. It was a little unclear.
Sure. I mean, I guess that would still exist.
And everybody else who is selected is famous or rich or from a good family, except for the Lotto Girl.
She's the only Lotto Girl. So basically the way they rigged this.
No, she's not. But I didn't find out until much later that there were more.
All right. Wow. So they basically, instead of saying everyone's going to get in through lottery, it's like, we're still going to pick our favorite elites and then just throw a bunch of randos in with them?
Yes.
Wild.
Give the people a chance.
That's the dumbest thing.
Then the announcer for the evening comes onto the mic to introduce all the gentlemen, and all the girls scream as Day eats her weight in shrimp. Very uninterested.
It's a little smart, yeah.
She catches the attention of Sun briefly because she's like so uninterested in her surroundings, but she's like forced, of course, to the front of the, row of people, and she's like stuffing her mouth full of shrimp, and he's like, "Who the heck is this girl?" It's a little funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And then Max takes off his shirt for like the third time on camera for reasons, I don't know. It's funny every time. It's kind of like an on-running joke in the TV show that he just like randomly pulls his shirt off. He has crazy abs, obviously.
Obviously. I would hope nothing less.
Yeah, he's the one that, all the girls scream for and faint because he randomly pulls his shirt off. Like, that's his claim to fame.
Good claim.
It's funny. All the boys introduce themselves and the auditions begin. Cut back to Day's apartment, and May is hosting a small gathering to cheer Day on. But as they're all cheering, she suddenly becomes breathless and she passes out.
No, not the sister who I know nothing about.
Oh, no, she's very cute. She's a good little actress.
Okay.
Back to the competition. Apparently, there are 5 lotto winners. That was unclear. They only showed one on the camera. You only follow her for the whole first part, but apparently there's 5 of them.
So 10% of the contestants are lotto winners.
Yes, assuming there's 50, which I'm pretty sure there are.
That is the wrong ratio.
It's crazy. So the lotto winners decide that they're going to work as a team. Like, they need to look out for each other, obviously, because it's 45-5.
Yeah, duh.
Day suddenly needs to use the restroom, which should come as no surprise. One, because,
Shrimps.
It's funny comedy, but also massive amounts of shrimp and cheese.
Yeah, obviously.
So there's this kind of funny scene where she ends up in the men's restroom, and she walks in and she looks very perplexed at the existence of urinals, which makes sense because she's never seen them.
Who would? They shouldn't exist at all. I mean, I'm for the abolition of urinals.
Yeah. And she's a pretty good comedic actress. And she walks up to the urinal and she flushes it, and the music from 2001: A Space Odyssey plays as the water disappears.
Thus
and she's
like, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like, what is this? And so she ends up going into the stall, and when she comes out, Sun is using the urinal, and she's very confused about what he's doing. She's like, there's a guy, and he's standing at the thing, and she keeps trying to look, and he's like, what are you doing?
I mean, valid question.
And he finally finishes up going to the bathroom and leaves to go wash his hand, and she follows him and asks for his autograph for her sister. And he's like, no, this is really inappropriate. You need to follow the protocol and stop being a stalker. This is very weird, because he doesn't understand that she has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but why wouldn't he understand that?
Because he lives in a golden tower. I don't know, Sam.
They gotta educate these people better.
So her phone rings and it says it's May, so she picks up and she's immediately starts complaining that now this guy thinks that she's a stalker, all because May wanted her to get his autograph. But it turns out that obviously it's not May. It's somebody calling to let her know that May is in the hospital.
Womp womp.
I know, sad day. Sorry.
Yeah, I got it, Danielle. Very good.
Day tries to leave. She wants to leave the competition. She goes up to Jenny, the producer, and is like, I've got to go. My sister's in the hospital. I shouldn't have been here. What was I thinking? Her sister is in the middle of chemo and just collapsed, and she realizes she can't be on the show anymore. But seeing a good producing moment, Jenny asks Day if she knows what she wins if she wins the competition. So she doesn't only marry a gentleman, she gets to live with the family, and her and her sister will receive the best care, and that includes medical care. So if she wins, May would have the top-notch medical care. It'd be her highest chance of survival.
It's amazing how this dystopian so resembles our current system.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Not good.
Day obviously is swayed by this argument, as most people would be, I imagine. And Jenny leaves, and as she leaves, she tells her staff to get a lot of footage of Day because she wants to sell the Six Sister story as much as possible.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. That's a good
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most realistic thing so far, is the callous reality show producer exploiting the tragedy of humanity for their own profit.
100%. So we understand, Jenny.
Yeah, too well.
With renewed determination, Day is like, I'm going to win this competition. I've got to win this competition. Otherwise, what's the point of being here? Now we move into the first game. Yay!
Wait,
the
so
audition
they're doing the
process.
show even though they haven't actually got on the show yet.
It's like an audition process.
But are they filming and broadcasting the audition?
Yes.
Then it's not an audition. Then they're already on the show. It's just
like
part of the show.
It's a pregame to the game.
It's all part of the game, though. Like, you don't, what?
So this
That's
first
like
game,
saying, like, the first inning of a baseball game is the pre-inning to the rest of the innings, which really matter.
This is kind of like the warm-up, but yeah, you can absolutely get disqualified. So it's basically the game, but they're not calling it, like, the start of the game, because there's a whole section later.
They call it whatever they want. They can call it, like, the super secret game, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still just all part of the game.
It's kind of like, and you probably never watched it, but, like, kind of like American Idol, where, like, the first ones are all these, like, group things, and then people get eliminated in mass, even though they're, like, technically part of the competition.
I've seen American Idol enough to know I never want to watch it again. But they never say like, oh, this is the pre-show or the audition period. Oh, they do say auditions in
they did say it's audition day.
But it is like the whole thing about the auditions is like the show is about auditions. So
yeah, well, here we are.
Okay, whatever. I still call it nonsense.
So the first game, Sam, is called Know Your Date. The music is very Hunger Games, which I realized upon a second watch. I was like, this is like straight out of Hunger Games, but changed slightly so that they don't get any kind of copyright warning.
Sure, I'll take your word for it.
And so colored spotlights, this is not the most interesting of all the games. I promise you the games get more interesting. But
I'll be the judge of that.
Basically what happens is colored spotlights fall from this like big, giant, darkened warehouse. And the game is that they will call out a fact about one of the 5 men. And the women have to go stand inside the colored circle that represents the man. The fact belongs to. And the space is limited inside the circles, and the circles get like less and less of them as the game goes on. And they're on a countdown. They make the
spotlight smaller.
Well, and there's like right at the beginning, there's like 3 reds and 3 greens and 3 and you can go run into those. But later on, there's like 1 red and 1 like it gets smaller and smaller.
So it's first come, first serve. I got you. I've seen competitions before.
Yeah. And it's a countdown. Obviously, they have like 20 seconds or whatever to go run into the correct one. If you're in the wrong circle or not in a circle by the end of it, then you're eliminated from the game. And these
they can lose half their contestants right here for arbitrarily dumb reasons.
Yes. And the crazy part is that like the people that come out to eliminate the contestants, quote unquote, are like people in these little dresses with like masks on, big like cardboard cutout masks with kind of anime style faces and like pink hair, and they come out and they like blow them with like
Is it trying to be like Squid Game thing?
Like it kind of has that vibe with like fire retardant almost. They like spray them and that's like them being out of the game after they like fall over.
Weird.
It's very dramatic. And
it's like very, a non-violent Squid Game.
It's totally almost worth watching just for like how colorful and weird the games are.
You are convincing me, I'll be honest.
It's very weird.
Okay, let me just assume for a second that this is a full-blown dystopia, whatever. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to determine the best breeding stock, and I apologize for that terminology, but here we are. This is what the show is doing to me. A trivia competition about random facts about men is not the way to figure out the best people to procreate.
Yeah, and it's weird because it doesn't seem like they've interviewed any of these people or seen like
have
you
they
don't
done
get
like
any
a genetic
of that.
Screening? Like have they done if her sister has cancer, maybe that's like, I hate to say it, maybe she shouldn't be in the running if like her genes are weak. And
I feel like in a real life, they would do a whole background process before contestants even got this far. And maybe they did off screen.
Very clear. I'm not advocating for eugenics. Please don't write in. I am saying in the universe where there already is dystopia, why aren't they doing eugenics? It's like the one instance where in the realm of the show, it would make sense because you have limited people. You can't afford to make a male, like you can't afford to give birth to a son who isn't viable. Like at that point, like every son is precious. And again, that's not a good thing. I'm not saying eugenics are a good thing. I'm just saying if you already have an evil government running a game show to pick breeding stock, you think they would do it in any smarter way?
Yeah. And maybe they do all that behind the scenes and maybe her genetics are totally fine, but they don't show any of that. And it would have been at this show was a little bit of a spoiler because we won't get that far, but it's tonally very interesting because the first several episodes are very like bright and colorful and funny and
then
like
it gets dark.
It gets darker and darker. And it's interesting that...
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too, but it would have been kind of interesting to see a scene where, like, she's going through kind of a laborious process to even get to the audition. Like, well, like, what is going on? Why are they testing my blood? Like, that would have been interesting because they probably would do that in real life.
That's what I'm getting at. And maybe, like, once all the women are cleared as, you know, healthy and whatever, they could all
options.
Be... Yeah. I mean, again, there's no way to talk about this show that doesn't sound like you are for eugenics. I'm sorry. I'm definitely not.
It's okay. Anybody who's listened this far knows what the story's about. So just know we're not pro eugenics.
I wanted to take it on context. I will make it very clear that we are talking about in universe. Oh, boy, this is thorny.
All right. Anyway, so the game begins. Jay is absolutely stumped, given that she does not care about the men at all. Again, has not followed them. So through sheer luck, she gets dragged into the right spot in the first round.
Sure.
She gets
gets swept up in a crowd, whatever.
No, she gets pulled in by the other Lotto girls. Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, go come stand in our line. So they're all circled in. They're holding on to each other so they don't fall out because they're like, you know, bunched together. And so she makes it through the first round. And then the second, the question they ask, she has a flashback to her sister laughing about an interview that she was watching on her phone and showing it to her that answers the question. And so she narrowly avoids actually getting pulled into the Lotto girls circle because they're all like, come with us. Because they had picked a different person.
No, it's this way.
Yeah, she doesn't say that to them because she's playing her own game.
Wait, so she abandons the Lotto girls?
100%. Just like walks right past them. She doesn't even say, you're in the wrong circle.
She's awful. She's like, hey, I know we all made a deal to hang out with each other, but the first opportunity I get to, like, move on without you, I'm just gonna, not even like, it wasn't even her or them. She could have pulled them in without having any consequences.
Well, to be fair, like, there is almost no space in the other circle. So, like,
but they could have, like, if they all, like, bunched together, they could have Red Rover that, like, smashed into, like, a bowling ball.
And, gotten over all the other people that were in the circle, sure. Yeah. They could have pushed out all the other girls. They did not do that. She just, like, blazes past them and squeezes herself into the correct one. And in this round, all the Lotto girls are out except for her.
Ruthless and
to be fair, she did not like actively try to join the Lotto girls. They like pulled her in and were like, hey, come be part of us, let's all work together. And she's like, I don't really care about this.
Also, like, bad tactics, because you knew one thing, congratulations, but they saved your butt once already and we're probably going to save your butt again. So
they know they would have probably looked out for her for the rest of the games, but here we are.
She's awful. I hope she loses. No, she won't, but she should. Or if she will, it'll be like to the very end and like, whatever. But anyway.
Yeah, I would say that might be the worst thing she does in retrospect is totally giving up all the Lotto girls immediately.
Yeah, wow.
So flash to the boys, or the gentlemen watching from a green room. They're like watching on a TV, all the things, and they're kind of like, are you interested in anybody? That kind of conversation. And
so the men don't get a choice in any of this. They just have to take whoever's given to them.
Well, kind of. We'll get into more of the gameplay, but in this initial part, no.
I'm saying it's a dystopia, so I'm not like saying that wouldn't make sense in a dystopia. I'm just saying, why even bother having them there watching if they don't get a choice?
It's definitely women getting to choose the men, but there's like lots of dates and stuff that they go on or whatever, so they get to know each other.
Also, if the games are like the same every year,
I think they're different every year.
Okay, because I was going to say, you think you would study up on your potential suitor so you could be prepared for the trivia portion of the show.
Maybe they do that every year, I don't know, but later they talk about like this is the theme for this round, so I think it's probably changes every 4 years.
Fine,
much like
sure.
The Hunger Games.
Can you stop talking about the Hunger Games? I don't know the Hunger Games that well.
Well, it changes every year.
Okay, great.
I mean, the basic premise is the same, but it changes like locations. So they're kind of like interested in the Lotto girl. They're like, oh, one of the Lotto girls, won or whatever. And then the son is like, yeah, I think she might be a stalker, you guys.
Dude, he's not giving the benefit of the doubt, dude.
So she barely survives the next round as the organic girls try to push her out of their circle when she steps into it.
How'd she know the answer to that one? Just luck again?
Yeah, it was another thing, a flashback to her sister.
Okay, great, sure. Why not?
And then it's to give you a little context with her sister, too, I think, because it's showing you, like, them interacting and everything.
It's showing the familial bond.
It's actually relatively smart writing, and they only use that twice where she like knows something because of her sister.
I'm still going to make fun of it though, even though it's smart.
It's totally fair. And then the next question appears, and the question is, what man is so afraid of fireworks that he can't be alone on New Year's Eve?
Me.
And that's not you.
You don't know.
I've seen you set off fireworks, unless you've developed a fear of fireworks since then.
Maybe
where you
I
set
was
off
just
like 800 fireworks.
Look, maybe I was just doing exposure therapy.
You remember we had the thing that like tied in the window and it like came down and exploded all the stuff
on fire?
Okay,
yeah, both of them, absolutely. Maybe
please,
that's how I developed my fear.
Sam's not afraid of fireworks, everybody.
Maybe that sparked it, eh? Sparked it.
Hey. So, unless some trauma has happened that I don't know about, which is entirely possible, I don't think you're afraid of fireworks. So she does have another flashback because her sister, there's fireworks happening. It's obviously like New Year's or something. And her sister asks her if she knows which of the gentlemen is afraid of fireworks. And Day is like, you shouldn't spend so much of your time. Yeah, obsess over these guys. And you're spending way too much money on this merchandise. And like, I don't have a lot of money. Like, to be honest, you can't spend all this money on stuff like this.
Fair.
And her sister's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I hadn't thought of that. You're like, like they're trying to have like some kind of heart to heart. And then as they're discussing this, her sister suddenly grasps at her chest before the conversation can finish. And she ends up in the hospital. So
no, not her sister, whose name I forgot. May?
May.
Is it M-A-I or M-A-Y?
M-A-Y.
Okay, got it.
And the doctor, weirdly, this is like the weirdest thing. The doctor shames Day by saying, basically, like, if you hadn't been working so much, you might have noticed that your sister's condition was deteriorating and it wouldn't be this bad.
Your workaholism caused her cancer. What?
Isn't that wild? I was like, who is this doctor? Like, I was so mad.
Wow. That is legit a terrible doctor.
Yeah, and it's like not like they just say it like it's like how somebody should be talking to somebody else. I was so offended, and I was like, that is not right.
100%.
And then it flashes back to the competition, and she realizes like she never got an answer. She doesn't know who's afraid of fireworks because that's when her sister, passed out basically. But she does recall that Sun flinched on stage when the confetti cannons went off earlier during the
So she goes for Sun. Okay, sure.
So she goes for Sun because she's like, maybe he's afraid of fireworks.
That's unfortunate because Sun is clearly inferior breeding stock. If he's afraid of that, I'm kidding.
And so she's running, slow motion running towards the light. Everybody's like staring, waiting for her to see if she's going to be able to make it to the light, to color. And
does she like slide in baseball style?
She does try to slide in baseball style, but before she can reach it, the buzzer goes off and her hand's like just outside of the circle.
So wait, was she mostly in with her hand outside?
No, she's not in it at all.
Oh, like she stops just short with her hand out.
Yeah, you see her, like, it's actually funny because the camera, like, is just showing the group of girls all huddled together, like, watching her, whether or not she's going to make it, and then the buzzer goes off, and you, like, flash over, and she's just flat on the ground with her hand outside the circle. Like, she just, like, collapsed.
So she's eliminated, show over.
Technically, but no.
There's going to be a loophole, of course. I gotcha.
So it's all played for drama, obviously. She has flashbacks to her sister talking about being a fighter and not being alone. It's like, tears are streaming down her face. And she's like laying on the ground, buzzed out of the game. But surprise, all of the ladies who were in the very last round who got eliminated get a chance to make it through in the next little section.
Why?
Because it's fun that way. There's always something in game shows where, like, just kidding, you're not really eliminated.
Yeah, but you should try to establish that beforehand.
Not always.
Okay, well, it's dumb then, and it's dumb now.
The Circle does it all the time. They, like, eliminate somebody, and then, like, just kidding, you're not eliminated. You play this other character or do this other thing.
This is like Marvel movies where, like, oh, this character's dead, just kidding. It takes all the drama out of it.
All right, the next round, these are the two most boring games. The rest are fun. The next game is spin date, like blind speed date is basically what it is.
Are they speed dating each other?
Like the men get to speed date with the women.
That's less interesting.
Yeah, but the women don't know like which man is coming into the rooms. So the girls are in the room and the men get to come in. And I don't think the men know who's in what room. Like they're just choosing rooms at random and they get to either save the person or not. They all get one save, I think.
And then how'd they get eliminated? So they're going to save 5 people and everyone else gets eliminated?
Yeah, whoever else was in that last round gets eliminated.
Oh, so you mean of the women who were eliminated, this is their wild card redemption?
This is their wild card redemption. 5 of them get saved.
Okay. That I thought it was just the next name for everybody.
No, it's just the 10 ladies or whatever that got eliminated last name.
Okay, sure. Why not?
So you see them like all running around trying to figure out which room they're going to want to go into. And it seems like Almond, the Almond character, is clearly looking around for someone. And you have to assume that maybe he's interested in Day.
Sure.
Just because he was like watching her on the TV earlier and he seemed like kind of intrigued by her. But he like is just, you just open a door and walk in. They have no idea who's in what room. But of course, Sun ends up in Day's room.
No kidding. So they don't switch. They just pick a random room. That's it.
They switch a room. They can either save the person or not save the person and go to a different room. There seems to be only 2 rounds as far as I can tell. So you can either save the first person or the second person that you go into for the guys.
So wait, is everyone in a different room?
Yeah, they're all like separate rooms.
So there are 10 women and 5 men just randomly choose a room and they can choose to save that person or not. And 5 women just won't get a visitor and just screwed by random luck.
Well, you can, and the guys get to decide if they're going to save that person or not, and then they have another round where they can go into a different room.
Oh, so they have 2 saves.
They have 1 save, but they have 2 rounds. So
okay, but like even if they like switch rooms, they don't know what rooms the other guys went into. So maybe some women don't even get a visitor.
Yeah, I don't know. You just see people running around like
this
cancers.
Is a terribly designed game. I'm sorry, awful game. Last game was fine. This game not well thought out.
I don't know the logistics of how the room situation works, Sam, but it seems like the guys just pick rooms at random. Maybe the next time if they didn't save their first person. Why does this happen to a speed
dating where they all take a turn talking to each woman and then they pick the ones they want to save?
I don't know, Sam. That's just
that makes sense. Look, dystopian Thai future. Call me.
Anyway, Sun ends up in her and Day's room. And I guess he's known for being an ice prince. He's kind of, you don't see this a lot from him, but apparently he is.
He's cold as ice.
And the hosts moan that Day just can't get any luck. Is she going to make it through as the lotto girl?
Well, he has to save somebody, right? Or does he choose to save nobody?
This is her first... He's not. They don't think he's gonna. I don't think they have to save somebody, and so they think that Sun's probably not going to save anybody.
Sure, fine, okay, whatever.
So during the during the blind date, he shows her a digital image of the men's restroom sign. He's like, "Hey, do you know what this is?" And she's like, "It's a person."
Good answer. Why would you need those signs?
And he's like, "It's a man." And then he shows her the urinal shape, like a little digital version of the urinal. And he's like, "This is like this is a bathroom for men." Oh, he totally is. And she's like, "Listen, they don't have these bathrooms in the city. There's like only women."
Right, yeah.
How would I know?
Sir, are a minority who do not exist outside. We don't accommodate your weird genitalia in my universe.
Yeah, and I think that she's 100% in the right, but he's kind of a jerk about it, of course. So he's clearly not going to save her, like he's just being
sure. Why not? Good for
huge
him.
Jerk. And she like begs him. She's like, "I have to be in this competition. Please, 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 please save me." But her earnest pleas don't seem to work. He does seem to feel a little bad as she starts to like cry, and she pulls her sash off in defeat. She clear that she doesn't think she's going to make it any farther.
Maybe someone else will come into her room. Who knows?
I think it's the last round.
So wait, so no one chose her the first round. This is the second round?
Yeah, I don't think anybody went in the first round, and the second round.
This game makes no sense. I hate it.
So as she's pulling off her sash, his eyes widen and fall on a necklace that came out as she was pulling on the sash.
Martha, why'd you say that name?
And it's like half of a coin or a pendant or something. It's like a broken half.
Sure, some nonsense.
Yeah. And the timer goes off and she leaves dramatically because she's, upset that she didn't make it on to the next round. And he rushes out after her, grabbing her arm and putting the sash back on. And the music swells very dramatically as the camera lingers on them as they stare at each other. And then Sun steps back and then interrupts the very dramatic music to do this little, dance number that he's required to do if he's saving somebody.
What?
It's so funny.
This might be the redemption this game needs.
He had said earlier, he's like, "I'm not doing the dance." And then after he sees her, he's like, does this little spinny dance thing and then does finger guns at her and is like, "I save you," in English.
That is wild.
It's really good.
It's only the best thing in the show so far.
She's like, "What?" So she's very perplexed, obviously, by this whole thing. And then you hear over them the PA announcement from previously about the escapee from the farm. It kind of overlays their staring at each other. And it cuts to the little boy from earlier in the beginning of the episode meeting a little girl with the same necklace on.
So this is a flashback to when he was a child and ran into her when she was a child. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, great. Of course. Absolutely, of course.
Come on, it's a trope for a reason, Sam.
Oh, I hate it.
I knew you'd hate it, but I'm telling you about it anyway.
Okay.
Cut scene to the women being taken to their new home on the farm. So this is all the people who made it through the competition.
They could call it the range, their home on the range. Come on.
That would be cute, but no. And then you cut again to 5 days before moving into the farm. Days visiting her sister at the hospital, and Valentine, the woman who works on the set of Ready, Set, Love, who's her friend.
Terrible name still.
Yeah. Heads out after the visit to see someone in a laundromat. The person working there asks her what she found out, and Val says that she's checked out the scripts and nothing seems strange. And the worker's like, well, I didn't think it was going to be that easy. Only elite families ever win the show. So we know it's fixed, but we can't seem to find any proof of it.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, and it turns out that the laundry worker is her mom, and Val promises that she'll be careful when they go in to film at the farm, and she will find him soon. She promises. Who's him?
Her long-lost brother or something?
I don't know, Sam. We'll find out.
I think you do know, Danielle.
I do know. I'm not telling you. You'll find out.
That's a better answer.
But that's the mystery. Find him soon.
Sure.
All right. Back to a very super fancy house. We zoom in on pictures of Chanel along the side table, and then to a woman who appears to be her mother presiding over a dinner, fancy dinner, with her husband, daughter. Chanel's mother.
Who's Chanel?
Chanel is Lady 101.
What was that established?
Game. It was earlier at the audition. Remember I said she was head of the organic game? Her name was Chanel.
Right. I didn't know her name was Chanel. I thought she was just called 01.
No, I told you her name was Chanel, but you were obsessed with the idea of Lady 01 being a Borg, and you did not pay attention to what I was saying.
To be fair, her being a Borg is way more interesting than her name being Chanel.
Well, her name is Chanel.
Fine.
And she's at
call
dinner.
Her 01 of 12 or whatever.
You can call her 01 if you want to, but Chanel is at dinner with her mother. Her mother's husband's there, so the father's there. Chanel, and then Son is there as a guest. Apparently, Son and Chanel have known each other since they were
childhood.
Kids.
Yeah.
Her mother clearly runs things with an iron fist. She's very much in charge, and the meal is very awkward and tense. And Jenny, the producer, ends up arriving at the house, and the mother excuses herself to speak with Jenny.
You gotta get rid of this rando lotto girl.
And she zooms off on a scooter for some reason.
A scooter or like a Segway or...
No, like a scooter, like 1 foot on the ground. You have to push
razor
yourself.
Scooter?
Like a fancy razor scooter.
I love that. If I had a mansion, I'd raise a scooter around that whole place.
It's the only time you see it in the whole show, and I was like, why? And she's in her, formal suit, classic.
Scootering around. Danielle, this
mother.
makes the most sense to me of anything you've told me so far about this show.
It's so good. She just, scooters through her marble, hallways on the scooter.
Yeah, wouldn't you if you had a giant mansion?
Oh, that's really good. And it's just, she's so fancily dressed. And then she hands it off to the maid when she gets to the door, and the maid carts it off.
Obviously, she's going to do a valet scooter. It's perfect.
It's so funny. And then Chanel
Nothing you said is at all unreasonable to me.
It's not unreasonable, just funny. So Chanel's back at the table trying to do some small talk with Son, asking if he's excited about the competition. She's clearly trying to have a conversation. And he's like, why would I be excited about it? It's fixed. And this deflates her enthusiasm pretty immediately.
Yeah, that makes sense. What does it matter if it's fixed anyway?
So Jenny reports that the first episode is doing better than any previous episode has ever done. And the mother offers her, Mrs. Kwan, offers her a drink in celebration. Jenny declines, letting her know that she's quit drinking. And the mother's like, well, I'm glad it's going.
She's pregnant.
Well, I'm glad it's going well, but I am concerned about the plan for Son and Chanel to get together, because they're the ones that are supposed to win the game, essentially.
Sure.
And she wants to know that everything's in place and that the Lotto girl isn't going to be some weird wild card, because she seems to be pretty popular.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of having the Lotto girls, for the weird wild cardness of it.
Right. And Jenny, that's what Jenny says. Basically, she assures her it's just to boost the ratings. They're just using her. That's not, going to affect the outcome of the game. And as Jenny is leaving, Mrs. Kwan notes that she wears heels, but recently she's been wearing flats and she's not drinking. She wonders if there's something going on.
She's pregnant!
And Jenny's like, I'm just taking care of my health. Like, there's nothing
I guess in a world where pregnancy is very rare, no one would know the signs.
Yeah. Jenny gets into the car of her waiting partner, and she's a little put out that Mrs. Kwan was like so up in her business, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
And apparently her partner's gone a little wild on the baby buying supplies because, yeah, you're right, she's pregnant.
Yeah. Who is her partner?
Like another woman.
Okay, that was my question. I didn't know if she was like
they've
also
done IVF. They mention at some point that like they've tried to do IVF or have done IVF a few times.
I just didn't know if she was like if she was also married to one of the previous guys through the contestant contest or not.
No, Jenny's just like an average person, I think, or just works for the government.
That's fine. I just want to clarify because keeping track of which guys are where seems to be pretty important in the show.
It does. But no, they're very excited. They got all these baby supplies in the back of the car, and they like look at it all excitedly, and then they're like, let's go get food. So she's pretty stoked about being pregnant. She, at this point, does not know the sex of the baby, to be clear.
That's fair. But it's a man.
It might be. We'll find out. So meanwhile, back with the girls, this like robot circle thing.
Okay, wait. Robot circle. Is it a circle of robots or is it a robot shaped like a circle?
It's a robot shaped like a disc, like a
satellite
Roomba disc almost.
Oh, okay.
A super white, clean looking like satellite dish. It's like on a little stand.
It has wheels or something?
It has wheels and it wheels around and it talks. There's a speaker inside of it.
Sure, why not?
And it can answer your questions. And I don't know if it's run by a human that just talks through the speaker or if it's like an actual
remote control.
Robot.
Well, yeah, obviously. There's a little guy inside of it.
I don't know if somebody's like remote controlling it.
I understood, Danielle. I like my idea better. I like to imagine it's like C-3PO or like R2-D2 from Star Wars with the person inside of it paddling around.
So Robot Circle explains the rules. So this season, the contests will be based on board games.
No, wait, what?
Just to let you know.
Worst board games probably, like Clue and stuff, right?
Hey, Clue is one of my favorite board games.
Yeah, I know, and it's still not very good.
It's a great game.
Great movie. Can't say it's a great game.
It's a great game.
Okay, sure. Whatever you say, Danielle.
So the points will be awarded based on the challenges, like who wins the challenges, combined with audience vote. And the top 5 contestants of each competition get to choose someone to go on a date with, one of the gentlemen.
So the odd way to rig this is just to rig the audience vote.
Right. And then the gentlemen get to award points to the ladies as well, based on how well the date goes.
Sure.
The gentlemen then arrive to help the ladies with their luggage, and Sun actively avoids Chanel, who looks at him enthusiastically, and he just like walks past her.
Yeah, I mean, rough. I get it. I understand this is like your classic, girl likes one guy who likes another girl thing. I got it. Sort
of. But Max ends up coming up to introduce himself to Chanel instead, clearly in love at first sight, or in lust at first sight, or whatever.
I mean, I was going to say, does it matter? And again, back to the original point, not to be callous, but does love matter in this universe?
No.
I mean, for the men.
There's just like 5 random ladies who get to marry these 5 guys if they win a competition. So I don't think love's that important.
Right. And also, again, to return to your earlier point, why one? Why not have a whole like, oh boy, there's no couth word for this at all. And a whole plethora of partners.
And they don't get into this, but I'm assuming these guys don't have a lot of choice in being in this competition. They've just reached marriageable.
The prisoners on the farm. They don't have any choice in anything.
Age. I don't think it matters what their sexuality is, or if they want to get married, or if they want to be in love. Like, I don't think it matters.
I don't understand why they don't just like. You ever see the movie A Boy and His Dog?
No.
Okay. Well, not to get too much into it, but there is a point where the titular boy, is abducted to some underground society in this post-apocalyptic world, and they attempt to milk him, to put it gently.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, no, they just do that. That seems like a way more efficient way to do this.
Yeah, I don't know why they're trying to like make it a love fest.
Yeah, weird.
So Max comes up, trying to help Chanel with her luggage and get to know her, and Bovie interrupts. Bovie is her best friend, Chanel's best friend. She's like way too excited to meet Max because she had claimed Max earlier, quote unquote.
Sure. Not that matters in this competition.
And he helps get both of their bags, but looking dejectedly at Chanel as she like walks away because she's vaguely uninterested.
Ooh, Chanel, so aloof.
So Sun instead ends up helping Day with her luggage, of course.
So wait, do all the guys like take turns helping all 50 women move, or like whoever's left, 20 women?
There's not 50 women left, but you don't really see it all. It's mostly off camera. You just see
Sure.
Like the interaction with Max and then Sun helping Day with her stuff. And then cut ahead to the first challenge. It is based on...
You mean the third challenge?
The third, but the first, like, real challenge.
No, they're all real challenges, Danielle. People were eliminated. Thank you very much.
I'm sure they told me what board game this was based on, but I was, half watching, so I'd already seen it once. And I don't remember, but I do know that it was based on the phrase, the way through a man's heart is through his stomach.
Is this Operation?
No. But so the men are dressed as chefs and
Sure.
all the ladies are assigned to one of them. So like groups of 5s or whatever. And it's like a cooking challenge, quote unquote. And I mean that very loosely because the game seems to be such a great, and this scene goes on forever. The game seems to be that they announce a well-known Thai food, and then each guy has to run to like a giant swimming pool filled with really large representation of food items that would be in those food items, like would be in that recipe.
Yeah, it sounds like a Double Dare game.
Yeah, kind of a Double Dare. It's very Double Dare. And they have to grab one of the food items out. There's like a bunch of them they have to sort through, figure out there's only so many. So they have to grab one of those things and they have to run it over to their runner girl. And the girl, it's like a costume. The girl has to like put it on and then she has to run across the soccer field and dive into a bowl of rice.
What?
And then, like, that's the home plate. Like, if she makes it there, she's good. And they take a picture of all the girls, like, laying in the bowl to be, like, the recipe, essentially.
What board game could this... I mean...
I have absolutely no idea.
There are cooking-themed board games, but I think they're kind of obscure. So maybe this is a Thai-specific game? I don't know. Maybe.
There are, like, definitely board games you're going to recognize, but this is not one of them. But it is pretty fun to watch people, like, run around as broccoli or whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's obviously why you do it.
So Day is assigned to Almond's team, and Almond is actually very into cooking, so you think that he would be really good at this game, but
he sucks.
He's like a massive overthinker when it comes to making dishes. So they immediately fall behind in the first round. And Day is like not having any of this. She's like, I am here to win, suck it up, let's do this.
Get your stuff together, Almond, if that is your real name. I'll turn you into milk.
So she becomes like the best runner in the entire world. Like, and it's very like all the girls like hit each other and like try and like wrestling each other trying to get to the plates.
Ingredients.
Yeah. Or get to the plates. They've already become ingredients.
Right. They get plated, the men get the ingredients.
Yeah. And Sun, who seems kind of afraid that maybe she's going to be eliminated because Almond sucks so hard at this, starts helping out Almond, like, grab that one. And so they manage, I don't think Day's team wins, but they like maybe come in second or something. I kind of skimmed through a lot of this. I didn't need to watch the whole game again. but to their surprise, with the popular vote from the audience, Day ends up being in the top. Like, she gets the number 1 most popular vote from the audience, and so she gets to choose one of the 8. She's in the top 5 contestants.
Oh, so even though her team didn't win, she gets to choose based on the vote.
Yes, I think that's what happened.
All right, sure. Overly complicated, this game show.
So Chanel's not pleased that she lost the popular vote because she is the most popular person in terms of social media and all of that. And Day ends up asking Sun out, who is surprisingly flustered, as the hosts point out, because usually he's very, Iceman.
Got it. Isn't Iceman like one of the people from Top Gun?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just wanted to establish that.
Glad we've got it out there. So public opinion is high on the show. It's like very interactive. People are really enjoying it. It's got the highest ratings ever.
I mean, I get why, but why do they care? Like, does it matter if the show is popular?
I don't have an answer to that.
Yeah, like, again, this is
I think it's like a rehabilitation for the government kind of thing. Like, it makes them look
propaganda.
Like
they're... sure.
like totally a propaganda. That's the word I'm looking for.
All right. I think there are better ways to do propaganda that don't involve potentially screwing up the genetic diversity of your population.
Agreed. And I also think they do a lot of, like, they sell a lot of products on it. So it probably is a big money maker, too.
Whatever. Sure. I have to stop asking this question because I'm going to keep wondering this the whole time.
Accept it.
I gotta accept it. I understand. Sorry. Let's move on.
So Jenny's very pleased with the results, but she, of course, gets an angry call from Mrs. Kwan about Chanel not winning or getting Sun, have somebody else gets to have a date with Sun. And Jenny's like, yeah.
Suck it up.
Yeah. Well, Jenny's like, yeah, well, because she's like the president's wife or whatever she is. Don't remember. And so Jenny excuses herself from the, group that's behind the scenes to go pull herself together because she's chewed out pretty thoroughly on the phone. And when she comes back, everybody's, left for the day and it's now abandoned workroom. But she sees Valentine alone in the room, which is kind of weird. She's standing there and Valentine's like, oh, sorry, I forgot something. But Jenny grabs her phone and leaves. But Jenny notices that her cell phone that she left behind when she went into the bathroom is like in a slightly different position from where it was previously.
Dun, dun, dun.
And she's like, but that's kind of weird. Like she looks at it questioningly. And as Val walks away in the hallway, you can see her that she's like downloaded something, like a copy of the phone or something from the phone or whatever.
I got it. Clandestine operations are afoot.
They are. So that night is their date, and Day cleans up very well, much to Sun's surprise. She's
why is anyone surprised that a handsome movie actor guy or TV show actor guy cleans up very well?
No, Day cleans up very well. Sun also cleans up well, but he's been in suits since the beginning, so no surprise there.
I think they mixed up because, again, they're basically the same word. Yeah.
So he notices pretty immediately that she doesn't have her necklace on, and he asks her about it. And she's like, oh, I took it off. It doesn't belong with the dress. And it's not really that important anyway. She tries to, play it off. And he seems
So does she not remember running to him as a child?
We'll get into this later, Sam, but not in this episode. Sorry.
No, I figured not.
So he seems perturbed by this because obviously it has some kind of impact on him, and she seems unconcerned about it. And their date continues to go poorly because earlier in the day, Day had a conversation with her sister about going on a date. Essentially, she had updated May as to what was going on, and May's like, "You've got to pull yourself together. You are the weirdest human being in the world. You cannot act like your normal self. You have to be a better person." More ladylike. You can't eat a ton of food. You can't say all the weird things you usually say. Gotta be proper. And so she has all this in her head, of course. So she tries to be as ladylike and as proper as possible. And it upsets Sun because she's so fake, as she's talking to him.
Be on your authentic self. That's what I care about.
Yeah. So he's kind of I wanted to get to know you and you're acting like a crazy person. So meanwhile, Bovie has chosen a date with Paper, they seem to be hitting it off. They both have an
I don't know who any of these people are. I'm never going to remember them. Sorry.
Bovie is Chanel's best friend, and Paper is just another guy that's in the competition.
Sure. All right. This is why I didn't remember who, you said Paper. I'm I don't know what that is. That's one of the guys and the girls.
Paper is not a main character, but an important side character, so we need to pay attention.
Well, the name is Paper, Danielle. You mentioned him once, so forgive me.
So this is your introduction into, this is the first time you get to see Paper do stuff. So Paper's interacting with Bovie, and they seem to be hitting it off. They both have an interest in music, and she asks him quietly, I assume so maybe the mics don't pick it up because they are mic'd and cameraed this entire time. They have
obviously.
We'll get into this later, but they have conversations frequently that cameras should be picking up.
Ooh, yeah, one of those things.
So the mics don't seem to pick it up, but basically she's like, have you, you have this interest in music. Have you ever heard of CG Radio? It's a station. And he's like, no, I haven't heard of that. And you don't hear anything more about that conversation at this time, but she passes him a drink coaster with some writing on it. And
CG Radio?
It's called CG Radio, a station called CG Radio.
Got it. All right.
And so the date night wraps up, and at the end of the night, all of the ladies get a high score from the gentleman, except for Day, who gives her a 5 out of 10. So sad.
You mean Sun?
Sun, sorry. Except Day, who gets a 5 out of 10 is what I meant to say.
Okay. I was wait a minute.
See, it's hard.
And I've made that mistake already. I think you may be contributing to me making that mistake a little bit, just putting that out there.
I tried my best with my notes. It was very hard.
All right, so
Sun gives her a 5. Day gets a 5
because she is so fake. Makes sense.
Yeah, and Day chases after him after the show, and she's like, "Hey,
what the heck, bro?
Why? I was trying my best to be proper and eat like a lady.
I don't want you to be proper. I want you to be a bro."
I want to know why. And he's like, well, the whole point of the date was to get to know you. And I don't know you after that date. You were fake the entire time.
Ooh, dropping some truth bombs.
And he accuses her of being willing to do anything to win the game. She's not even genuinely interested in it. And she's like, hey, you don't get to judge what I am doing while you sit in your golden tower, you live a government-funded happy life, and I'm just a regular person trying to find happiness, live my best life. Yeah, I'd rather not be you. You are a terrible person. You have all of these feelings about what we're like as a normal populace and what we should and should not do when you get to be all rich and fancy. And he's obviously very thrown off by this, and she spins around and marches off.
As well she should.
Yeah, they're both in the wrong, but I agree that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he has judged her quite a lot.
Yes, sure.
So back in his room, Paper pulls out the coaster, and you see a flashback to his dinner with Bofi. And he asks her if the radio station is real. They are having a average volume conversation about this.
And it's supposed to be all secret.
Like, this is a huge camera event. There's no way this is not picked up by microphones. I'm sure they have microphones on them. So he asks if the radio station is real, because he has an old radio, but he's never been able to find, like, a station on it when he's tried. So he assumed that radio was over. Like, there just weren't any more stations out there. And the coaster has the station number on it. So he adjusts the antenna, and he's like, finds the spot, and he finds the station. And a song plays on it, much to his delight. And it's a song called Beyond the Wall. And it's about a place outside of the mainstream where things are happier and, people can be happy and be themselves.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, it's a metaphor that hits you over the head.
Yeah, I got it.
Meanwhile, Day gets hungry and goes into the kitchen to make food, but is apparently kind of a moron and can't figure out the basic food concepts. She's kind of dumb, and she's simultaneously like smart in some scenes and really stupid in other scenes. And this is one of those scenes where she just like can't function as a human being. And she ends up just eating like ramen from a bag raw because she can't figure out how to cook anything.
Why not?
And Almond walks in and is like, no, that we're not eating raw ramen out of the bag. And so he ends up cooking for her. And you get all the great product placement because his face is on one of the ramen bags. Like, that's what he sells. He's on all the food products. It's very funny.
Why not?
They clearly all have like a thing that they're known for advertising. His son seems to be makeup. He's in a couple of makeup ads, and then Almond's in a bunch of like food things. You see him on food placement all the time. It's kind of cool.
Sure. I guess if you're the only man around, you might as well make money off that.
Yeah. So Sun wanders in as he sees her. He like comes into the kitchen and he sees her at the table, and he kind of gets like a smile on his face like, oh, I wanted to talk to her, kind of resolve the issue. He clearly wants to speak with her, but he realizes that she's talking to Almond about the date and how she didn't get to eat anything because she was trying to be so refined and she couldn't be herself. And Almond laughs and is like, well, just pick me next time for the date. Like, I'm totally fine with you eating. I like to cook. Like, you can be yourself. Don't have any problem with that. And Sun is obviously disappointed by the conversation he's overheard, and he leaves them alone.
Okay, sure. Why not?
And he heads back to his room where he pulls out a necklace that is clearly the other half of the one Day has.
Oh, I'm so shocked. I'm going to die from shock.
Right. Cut to a man, and we're almost done. Cut to a man and the little boy from earlier running across the woods. And the man tells the boy that they have to keep running. And you can see there's a road up in front of them. And they almost make it to the road when a tranquilizer lands on the man's back and he collapses to the ground as the sun runs ahead. No. And a flare goes into the sky and flashes a firework, and the boy puts his hands on his ears and he turns, yelling for his dad as he sees him fall to the ground. And military uniformed women run out of the woods with guns, and the man tells his son to keep running, and the man laughs as his son seems to manage to escape as the military people surround him. And we're gonna stop there.
Okay, men are escaping through the woods. Game shows going on.
Mysterious.
What a cliffhanger.
Why are the men leaving their perfect utopia?
Gee, what a perfect utopia this is.
You gotta admit, the summary did not prepare you for that.
Yeah. There's a lot I didn't really, that summary of one bare sentence did not prepare me for, Danielle.
Yeah, I read that and then started watching the show, and I'm like, what? Why?
Well, that was certainly the beginning of something. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
It sounds like, again, it sounds like a goofier Squid Game with a lot of weird gender stuff going on.
It definitely has a little bit of a Squid Game vibe, just with the competition style.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like it's going to keep that kind of fun vibe, colorful, bright vibe.
Yeah, I think for better or worse, it gets a little darker towards the end.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can't wait to hear what happens to Sun, Day, and Moon. I'm assuming there's a moon somewhere in there.
There is not a moon.
What's the point?
I don't know.
I think our listeners should write in and tell us what they think a better name for the show than Ready, Set, Love would be. Because, boy, are there better options than Ready, Set, Love out there for this absolutely essential to the survival of the species game.
What would you call it, Sam?
I don't know. Maybe Love or Die.
I mean, that's not untrue, I guess.
Right? How about, for the good of the species, get over here and I can't finish that sentence.
Human games.
Human games, sure. That's not great either.
Better than Ready, Set, Love.
If you people have a better idea, please write into us at bookretorts.com.
Or you can tweet, Instagram, or Facebook us at bookretorts.
I can't wait to hear how this goes forward next time. What new games they play based on what board games that we won't understand or reference or know.
That's not true. There's several board games coming up that you're absolutely going to recognize.
Okay, great. Well, I hope one of them is Don't Wake Daddy.
There is a really funny, that is not one of the games. There is a really funny line that I didn't say where they say that it's going to be based on board games, and Bovie is like, maybe it'll be Hungry Hippos.
That would be amazing.
And Chanel is like, it's not going to be Hungry Hippos.
It should be Hungry Hippos.
That would be pretty fun.
That'd be a great game. Like, make the men be the hippos. Like the five guys.
I don't know how you do that, but it'd be fun.
And the women have to like smash the levers to push them forward so they can grab marbles or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a pretty funny line. I laughed.
If you want to see a board game they could play as part of the competition, in addition to a better name for the show, you can also send that to us, please.
So there you go. Ready, Set, Love.
Well, until next time, I guess I don't even know what I'd be thankful for about this one.
Did we fail you? It's the first time Sam hasn't been able to come up with one.
Okay, fine. Until next time, don't betray your alliance immediately if you're in a reality show.
It's crazy. Just ran right past them. She's like, screw you guys.
What a choice. That certainly would not have been helpful to have 5 other people, or at least 4 other people involved who had your back.
Nope. No, she's all alone.
Quite a thing.
Yeah, and it's weird because there's no, I guess it just plays up the fact that she's the Lotto girl, but like, I guess
why even have the other Lotto girls then?
I don't know, but they also could have like, some of them could have gotten taken out in the second round or, the next one. I didn't have to be right away.
It also shows the folly of if you're trying to like get a group through of moving as a unit. Yeah. Because it just means you're all getting eliminated at once. If they had spread out their chances, then more of them made it through.
That's true, but they didn't think about that.
No, bad tactics. Bad tactics.
Yeah, we do better games.
Yeah, we do better at games, I guess. Is that the word?
At the human games.
Yeah, whatever this game show is. At
Love or Death.
Love or Death, or Who's Going to Procreate? That sounds good. I don't know. So this is why on the spot's hard. We gotta brainstorm this.
We'll work on it. Sam will come up with some new names for next time.
You don't put that on me.
I'm doing it.
Well, all right. I guess ignore it then. Who cares?
Me.
Yeah, but you can't make me. So what's the deal? All right, well, until next time, bye.
Take care, everybody. I also want a refrigerator. When I was little, I thought the like height of being fancy was having 2 refrigerators, and one outside and one side. Only because my grandparents had a drink refrigerator, and I've always wanted a drink refrigerator.
Why? You have a refrigerator in your home that presumably has enough room for your drinks.
It has all my food in it.
Is there no room for drinks as well?
Well, yeah, but my grandparents had like 1 million drinks in their fridge. It was so fun.
You need 1 million drinks in your fridge? You live alone.
Yeah, but then you'd have a plethora of beverages to choose from, and when people came over, they could go to your drink fridge. So okay, it's my dream, Sam.
I'm just saying, your dream is stupid.
It's mine. Shut up.